Hi, welcome to Chris's Cooking. Today I'm making an Italian-inspired meal of mushroom risotto, whole deboned chicken stuffed with a garlic, cream cheese, and sun-dried tomatoes. We're going to make a nice au jus from the pan drippings and roasted heirloom carrots. We're going to get started. I have my deboned chicken here. Now this chicken was deboned in my previous video. If you want to check it out on my channel, Chris's Cooking, it's there for you. All right, so we've got our chicken. So we're going to get some tin foil. All right, we're going to get some tin foil. And I'm going to open up the chicken. First, I'm going to season. Just going to season the skin side. All right. Rinse. It's a little bit of salt and pepper on the skin. I have a little Italian herbs seasoning here. It's a little bit of rosemary, oregano, basil, thyme. We're just going to lightly coat the skin. Keep that over here. Now we're going to flip this over. So now we got it all aligned. Now we're just going to finish the seasoning inside. A little bit more of that Italian seasoning. All right. Some salt and pepper. Okay. Now we're going to stuff it with the sun-dried tomatoes. Okay. Just sort of place them down the center. Get some of that little excess oil. Just don't want to waste any of that. There we go. Cream cheese with herbs and garlic right down the center. All that in there. So we're going to roll this up. Okay. Sort of gently fold it over, pull it in. Folding it over, and we want to make this tight so that when we're baking it in the oven, it's all going to come together. All right, give it a couple good squeezes. Sort of tuck these underneath so that you don't lose anything. And then we're going to place it in a pan, a roasting pan. Place it in a roasting pan, and then we're going to place it in an oven, 350 degrees. Depending on the size of the chicken you use, it can take anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour to cook. We're going to pull it out just before it's done, and then we're going to let it sit for a couple of minutes, remove it from the tin foil, and then we're going to brown it back in the oven to give it some color, because it won't have any color from baking inside the tin foil. All right. All right, so our chicken's in the oven. We're going to start a risotto. So we're going to need some mushrooms, whatever your favorite mushroom. These are cremini mushrooms or coffee mushrooms. A couple of those, half of a medium onion, a clove of garlic. All right, and we're going to chop that up. knife. So we've got our mushrooms. Place those in the bowl. Our onion, small dice. Right. Local garlic, just lightly smash it. Chop. Really light garlic, 2 cloves. Okay. So now what we're going to do, let's my hands off for a second. So we're going to go over to the stove. We're going to get our frying pan hot. A couple of tablespoons of olive oil. When that's hot, we're just going to take our onions and our garlic. We're going to start that off. All right. Into the frying pan we go. Just for a couple of minutes, just until the onions start to change color a little bit. Get the sweat on, start to turn translucent. We'll stir. You don't want these to brown or burn, so adjust the heat. Up next, we're going to add our mushrooms. All right. Let that cook until the mushrooms start to soften a little bit. All right. Now let's talk about the borio rice. So it's a short grain Italian rice. As you can see, it's like a little round, small mini football. That's what it looks like. All right. Now this rice is cooked differently than your normal rice that you would normally cook. You'd have it in a liquid. You'd add all the liquid, all the rice in it at once, and bring it to a boil, and then you would reduce the heat to low, or if you had a rice cooker or something like that. For this one, we're going to cook it at a high temperature, but only add liquid as we need it. So we're going to add every 3 to 4 minutes. We're going to add a little bit more chicken stock to the recipe, and until the rice completely absorbs all of the liquid. So Back to the stove, the mushrooms starting to cook a little bit more. Just gonna let them go for another minute or so before we add the rice in. Okay, so the mushrooms are starting to soften up. We're gonna add in the rice. About a cup of rice. It's not that big of a deal if you don't measure your rice for this, because approximately a cup, cup and a half, cup and a quarter, because we're gonna add liquid as we go. So it's not that important. You can add a little bit more liquid or a little less liquid depending on, when you find it when it's done. So we're going to let that cook for a couple minutes, and we're going to add a little bit of white wine to this. Completely up to you if you want to add wine or not. I like to add a little wine to my dishes. About a half a cup of wine. And we're just going to let that cook down a little bit until the pan is almost dry again. And then we'll start incorporating the chicken stock into the recipe. Cook it fresh. So there's almost no more liquid in here. We're going to start adding some chicken stock to it. About a third of a cup, third to a half a cup at a time. Sort of let that come in and bring it back to a boil. Okay, so we'll let that start back up. As you see, at the higher temperature, it's not going to take very long to get back to a boiling point. Okay, so I'm going to bring that to a boil. I'm going to get my carrots ready while we're doing that. So I have some heirloom carrots. I left the skin on them. I washed them, left the skin on them. Just all the nutrients are in the skin. Any vegetable that grows under the ground, potatoes, carrots, anything in that family. Most of the nutrients are in the skin. So when you peel that off, you're getting rid of the nutrients, right? So I have these beautiful, colorful carrots. I'm just going to season them with a little bit of olive oil. A little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper. That's it. So for these carrots, the darker red carrot does tend to bleed out like cabbage would, or red onions. They will, if you boil them, they will bleed out into the water. So that's why I like roasting these. It really keeps their color and crispness and flavor. Just toss those around. Take our carrots, put in a baking sheet. Okay, you can see all the wonderful colors. carrots, and we'll bake them in a 350 degree oven for approximately 20 minutes. All right. So I would wait until the chicken is maybe 3/4 of the way done before you start your carrots in the oven. So I'm just going to put these on the side for a little bit. Back to the rice. This is coming along nicely. As you can see, the chicken stock, as it's reducing, it's mixing in with the starch, the natural starches from the rice, and giving it a very creamy consistency in the liquid, right? Let that go for another minute or so before it adds some more stock. Now, if you're not a fan of mushrooms, you can just do this straight with no, just the onions and the garlic and the boiled rice. Or maybe you have another preference, you have another flavor that you'd like to try. By all means. Add some more stock. Now, if you run out of stock, you can always just add, you've already got the flavor in there, just add water. If you run out of stock and it's still not cooked, just continue with some water until the rice is ready to eat. You should have enough stock. So we're going to continue cooking this rice. I'm going to stop it about 3/4 of the way cooked. It's almost there now, and we'll just finish it up later once the chicken is out. All right, we're back, and we're going to check on the chicken and see how it's doing. Pull it out of the oven. Okay. So with the thermometer, I'm just going to check the internal temperature. All right. Now I want this to be slightly undercooked for now. I don't want it to be fully cooked. So fully cooked would be about 174 degrees Fahrenheit. It's at about 156. So I'm gonna leave it out for a couple of minutes until it cools off enough for me to remove the tin foil, and then I'll put it back in the pan, put it back in the oven, and finish the cooking to brown the skin. All right, so I'm just going to let it sit there for a couple minutes. Okay, we're back. It's been about 10 minutes. The chicken is cool enough for me to handle. So we're just going to open up the tin foil and remove it. All right, and then we're going to pop it back in the oven. And do this without go from the seam. Pull it out. All that juice, that wonderful juice, is going to come down into the pan. Oh, look at that, creamy. Cheese is melting, so that's going to create our sauce today. So don't. Out. Okay. So that's what I was hoping for, right? All that juice, that cream, everything coming out and coming together. So as you can see, the skin is very pale, so we want to crisp that up. That's why I pulled the chicken out a little earlier than we needed to. And so we're going to pop that in the oven. It should take about 10 to 15 minutes, but we're going to watch the temperature. Of course, we want it to be at that 174 degrees Fahrenheit, so that it's safe to eat and it's good and everything's juicy. All right, so we'll pop it back in the oven. All right, we're back. We're going to check on the chicken and see how it's coming along. I have a good feeling that it smells really good in here, so it should be done. I'm going to take it out. Oh yes, we got a nice brown color, and we got some nice caramelization of the chicken juices and fat at the bottom. That's going to make a really nice sauce. So I'm just going to take the chicken out of the pan, and we're going to use all of that dripping in there to make a sauce. Got a plate. Just going to transfer it to the plate. All right, be careful. You don't want this to fall apart on you now. Oh, a little bit. It's okay. We'll make do with that. That'll be my portion. All right. So we're just going to set that down. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to put it on the stove. Let's get it over there. So we're going to turn it on high for now. It's already really hot, so it's not going to take long for it to start to cook. And we're just going to come in with some white wine. Get a spatula, a wooden spoon, and we're just going to gently scrape the bottom, trying to scrape away all of the remnants off the bottom of the pan. As you can see, it's getting a nice color. So we want to cook the wine down until it's almost completely evaporated. I think I've gotten all of the everything off the bottom of the pan. There's nothing left there. So as you can see, as it starts to reduce, it's getting a little thicker. Turn it down just a little bit. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this completely off. Okay. And season with a little salt and pepper. Right. So we have our pan drippings, we've added wine to this, we've reduced it down, it's starting to thicken, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn that off for now. And I'm going to come back to this just before I plate. This will be the last thing that I do. So I'm just going to move this away. And we're going to come in with our risotto. That was 3/4 of the way cooked. Okay. And we're just going to warm this back up. The chicken is resting on the counter before we slice it. Okay. Turn the risotto back on. As you can see, there's almost no liquid in this. It's absorbed everything. So I'm just going to put a small amount of chicken stock in. And once that is evaporated, we are good. You're ready. Okay. So the last thing we do with the risotto before we serve it is we're going to grate some fresh Parmesan cheese into it. We will adjust the seasoning and give it a quick little taste. And come on. Get our Parmesan cheese. All in there. Give it a stir. I'm not going to add any more salt, but I'm going to give it some fresh black pepper. Turn that off, bring it over to the side, and we're going to check on the chicken, see how it's doing. Back over here. All right. You find you got a little more juice coming out, you know what to do with that, right? Just put that back in the pan. Okay. So we're going to transfer the chicken to the cutting board. With a nice sharp knife, I'm gonna carve this up, all right? Some healthy slices. So you're gonna have that cheese, you're gonna have Sundried tomatoes, right? Look at that, beautiful chicken, right? Crispy skin, beautiful, perfect. So we're going to plate that up. I have my carrots. I'm going to take them out of the oven. You see how roasting them keeps their color, right? Beautiful, vibrant colors. We have our risotto ready. We're just going to finish the sauce now on the stove and get that to a boil. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop a couple of pieces of cold butter in here, and that will thicken it. I'm going to bring it to a boil. I'll turn it off, and then I've got some cold butter. All right, turn it off. Some cold butter, and that's just going to bring the sauce together. All right. Nice shine to it. Okay, one more. All right, let's get ready to plate. All right, everything's ready to go. We're gonna plate it and have some dinner. So, your favorite plate, your favorite bowl, your favorite dish. Risotto, right in the middle. All right. We have our carrots. Try to get, a little bit of all the colors. All right. Chicken. There in the middle. Keep it together. Go. Now for our sauce. There we are. Try it out. Bon appetit.